Good evening, and tonight is the test pilot night for seeing how my crazy animals react to me having the door closed at home. Eventually, I would love to make this my new yoga slash workout room, but the dogs have another idea in mind. So we're going to see how it goes. Um, First of all, I would just like you to be patient with me tonight. Um, Trying out a new realm here, and it's terrifying because I don't know what they're going to do. But regardless, here we are. It's yoga, so let's do a short sequence tonight, kind of touch base with some grounding work. Let's do a little bit of some balancing work and see what happens. All right, so let's start out in a simple cross-legged pose. Shoulders back, back nice and straight. Nice deep breaths from the belly, all the way up through the diaphragm, the rib cage, the chest, and gently exhaling through the nose. Let's go ahead, take a nice deep breath in, bring those arms overhead, and exhale, release. One more time, inhale, arms up, and exhale, release. And let's go ahead and just take that left hand to the right knee, right hand behind. Get a nice twist for that spine. Back to center. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind. Back to center. And let's go ahead, bring those hands out in front. Let the sitting bones stay on the floor. Extend through the fingertips on each exhale. Come back up. Take a nice deep breath here. Ground yourself for a moment, keeping the legs down, the sitting bones down, the butt down. Let's take a nice deep grounding inhale here. And then exhale, come back out, keeping the sitting bones down and just extending through the hands. And then let's walk the hands over to that left side. Back to center. And then over to the right side. And back to center. And then come back up. Let's pause here again for a couple of nice grounding breaths. And what I want you to focus on when we're doing grounding work is really grounding everything. So you need to physically feel your legs, your sitting bones grounded into the floor, spine nice and lined up, shoulders relaxed. And just take a couple more deep breaths. And let's come over to on hands and knees. And let's start by getting a good opening stretch for the spine by doing cat-cow. So we're going to start by inhaling, dropping that stomach towards the ground, lifting the head up, shoulders back. And exhale, arch the back, tuck the chin into that chest. And release. One more time, inhale, dip the belly, lift the chest and the head. And exhale, arch that back up, tuck the chin in. And release. And let's just take a second and balance ourselves, trying to keep equal pressure between the hands and the knees, the left and the right side. And we're just going to extend that left arm out, right leg behind. Nice deep breaths. Try to keep any areas of tension released through your breath. So if you feel like something is really tight on one side or the other, try to just use the breath to work past that. And release. Other side, right arm out, left leg back. And release. Let's come back, sit on the heels, roll those shoulders back, and let's take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And then open the knees just a little bit, slide those arms forward into child's pose. And just remember, work with your breath here. So keep the butt down towards the feet. If it lifts up a little bit, that's okay. But if you find yourself way up here, that means you need to take your arms back. Right? And just settle in for a few breaths here. And then very slowly bring the hands back. Come back to the hands and knees. And let's go ahead and come up into downward dog. Always, that first one is a little bit rough. So just give your body a minute to adjust to it. Push back from the hands. Push down through the legs. Nice deep breaths. And then come back down to the knees. Come back, let the hands rest on the legs. We're going to do that a couple more times, but we're going to add in a little bit of variety by extending one leg out at a time and then bringing it in. This is going to work into the next series of downward dog poses that we're going to be doing. So this is it, and it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it is. So Just be patient with yourself. Let's go back, hands and knees, up to downward dog. And then we're going to take that left leg and just extend it out and back. Now, if you make it here for a few seconds, that's great. It doesn't matter. Okay, this is a whole new movement for the body, and the body needs to balance and adapt. So let's just go ahead, bring that back down. Take a second back in downward dog. And then let's extend that right leg up. And same thing, on each side, you're going to notice that everything has to kind of shift and balance to make the body stabilize. So it's a lot more work than it looks. And then bring that foot down, back down to the knees. Let's come back and rest for a couple minutes here, taking some deep breaths, noticing your body where you're feeling the work. So it could be in the arms, the shoulders, the legs, the butt. Keep track of all of that. And then let's come back onto the hands and knees, up to downward dog. Extend that left leg up. And now we're just going to bring it, the knee into the chest. We're going to do this 4 times on each side. Just getting that movement. And then come down and rest. And then we'll do the other side. And usually there's a pretty big shift in energy between each side. So one side of your body is usually way more stable, balanced, and stronger than the other. So it's nice to take a break in between right now as we're learning to get a grasp on, what sides of your body have the strengths and weaknesses. Let's come back to the hands and knees. Push back up into downward dog. Extend that right leg back this time. And then bring the knee into the chest. Extend up. Knee to the chest. 2 more times. Knee to the chest. And once more. Knee to the chest. And come back down to hands and knees. And let's come back to a sitting position. Let's ground ourselves again, even though it doesn't necessarily seem like a lot of work. All of that downward dog movements that we just did are really working the entire body, and it elevates the heart rate, which is great. Now it's time to bring it back down again. So let's take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And then we're going to take that right hand, place it under the right leg, bring the left arm up and over to the left side. And you want to stop where you can feel that left leg start to come up. Back to center. Left arm tucks under, or left hand tucks under, right arm comes up. Back to center. Let's do that one more time. Right hand under, left arm up and over, keeping that left side down. Back to center. Right arm up. And back down. Let's come up into a squat. If you can, try to keep those hands on the knees. Work on stabilizing that spine so that your entire vertebrae are aligned. And then go ahead, place the hands down, come up into a forward standing bend. And then slowly roll yourself up. And let's step those feet a little wider apart. We're going to turn that left leg in, so your left heel's planted, left toes in, right toes to the side, and just try to shift your hips over that right leg. And we're going to go ahead, take the arms behind the back, interlace the fingers, lift them away from the body, and then come down over that right leg. Slowly come back up. Release the arms, shake them out, come back to the center for a minute. When we're just beginning with these balancing poses, and actually anywhere in your practice that you are, it's always good to take a minute just to breathe and find your center again between sides. Sometimes in fast flowing classes, you don't get to see that, but if you need that break, take it, because it helps you focus and have better form for the next side. So we're going to switch right heel down, right toes out, left toes up, hips shifted towards that left side, hands behind the back. Lift the hands and slowly come forward over that left leg. And you'll know when it's a good place to stop. As soon as you can start to feel resistance and a stretch, that's where you want to be. It doesn't matter how high up you are or how low you are. You want to find your place of resistance. And then slowly come back up. We're going to try just a little bit deeper version of that pose. So we're going to come back to the right leg being in front, left heel planted, left toes out. This time we're going to do just a variation with a hand placement. So you're going to be doing this behind your back, okay? And if you can't, that's fine. Bring the hands as close to where you can. So we're going to bring, what I like to do, and I'll show you from this side, is kind of start from the heels of the hand up through the fingertips. And you might be way up here, you might be way down here. Your fingers might not even touch, and that's okay, because this is opening the chest and the diaphragm and the entire front of the body to allow for bigger movements. So wherever you can place your hands comfortably, then we're just going to come back down over that leg. And the only thing you want to be mindful of here is keeping the shoulders back. The tendency here is to let everything kind of hang, and that's okay, but you get a lot more out of the posture if you keep the shoulders back in line with those elbows. And then slowly come back up. Take a minute to rest. Ground with a few deep breaths. And then let's shift to that left side. Bring the hands again together to whatever capacity you can. And lean forward over that left leg. And then very slowly come back up. Come back to center. Let's just roll those shoulders back. Bring the hands behind your back, interlocking the fingers. Let's lift the arms away and come into a forward fold. And then slowly come back up. Nice work. Those moves are not just testing your strength, it's also a lot of balancing, which kind of go hand in hand. So let's bring those feet back together. Go ahead, bring the arms up. And exhale, release. One more time. And exhale, release. Come back into your forward fold. Just let the top of the body completely release and relax here. Go ahead and come back down onto the knees and then back into a simple cross-legged pose. Let's bring those feet together. Keeping the sitting bones grounded, let's hold on to the ankles. And just focus on letting those legs release towards the floor as you keep your back straight, your shoulders back. And then let's bring the hands down to the toes and just gently bring the forearms and the elbows to the shins. And then slowly come back up. Let's come back into a simple cross-legged pose. Place the hands gently on the knees. Relax the body. Ground your sitting bones. And let's just take a moment to breathe deeply here. You might feel that your heart rate is still elevated from doing the inversions and the balancing poses. So let's just take a second and bring that down. And then we're going to come down onto the back. And we're going to ground the entire back of the body into the ground. We're going to be moving into a bridge pose. So we want to just ground the body first and feel secure. Let that heart rate come down just a little bit. And then we're going to slowly lift the hips, the pelvis, and the legs and bring the hands underneath your back. You can either leave them flat on the floor or interlock the fingers. And just take some deep breaths here. And then slowly come back down. Lift the feet, bring the knees into the chest. We just extended the back, so now we're stretching it out a little bit. Rock from side to side a couple times. Come back to center. Let's drop those feet down one more time. Move back up into our bridge, either keeping the palms down or under the back. Nice deep breaths here. Think about each inhale that you're just pushing up gently through the pelvis and the hips. And then very slowly lower back down. Let's just extend that left leg out, bending that right knee into the chest. Relaxing the shoulders back. And then release the right leg. Same thing with the left side. And release. Let's bend both knees back in one more time. Really try to ground the shoulders and the small of the back into the floor. And then slowly drop the feet back down. Go ahead and just bring those feet together. Let the knees drop open to the side. Extend the arms up along the floor. And as you actively reach up through the fingertips, press the feet together gently. One more nice deep breath here. And then bring the arms around. Let the hands rest on the belly. Each time you exhale, I want you just to think about letting the legs drop towards the floor a little bit more. Releasing that tension that's built up in the hips. And then let's go ahead and extend the legs all the way out. Let the arms drop open and completely ground yourself into the floor. And just tune into your breathing here. So each inhale, let the top of the body feel light and open. And on each exhale, just let the back of the body relax into the floor, feel grounded and supported. Let's take another nice deep breath here. And then slowly begin to move the fingers and the toes. Bring those knees in. Roll yourself back up. Come back to a seated position. Let the eyes stay closed, shoulders back. Let's just take a nice deep breath in. Let the arms come overhead, reaching up through those fingertips. And exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, arms up. And on the exhale, bring the hands down to the chest. Take a couple more breaths here to ground and center yourself. Namaste.